Oh, no! No! So I'm going to be keeping this review short because there's not really that much I have to say about Assassin's Creed Mirage. It is trying to go against what Ubisoft has been doing with the Assassin's Creed games. This is supposed to be a game for fans of the older Assassin's Creed games, so it strips away a lot of the RPG elements and a lot of the tedium that comes with the newer games that people are kind of indifferent towards. Personally speaking, I actually really enjoy the RPG Assassin's Creed games, so I don't really have too many complaints in that regard. However, what I will say is those games just take an absurd amount of time to complete, whereas Assassin's Creed Mirage is going to take you around 20 hours, if not under that. The beginning of the game, you are, kind of starting out with a very basic tool set. As you progress through the story, you'll end up unlocking more tools that you can play with. That's kind of the older Assassin's Creed style of game. So I would recommend playing a significant amount of the story before you start exploring the open world, because there's going to be a lot of different things that you might come across that you can't actually interact with because you don't have the right tool for it. Or in general, it might be a lot more tedious for you to escape the guards because you haven't gotten the right tool yet. There is a skill tree, but skill points are going to be awarded for progression, and the skills themselves are going to basically take mechanics that might start out feeling broken and make them more functional, like, being able to see enemies through walls without using your eagle vision so long as you're hidden and sneaking. Other ones which are a little bit lame might be that you can only have like one tool at a time. So you might just have your throwing daggers, but you can get the upgrade so that you can carry another additional tool, which could be like a smoke bomb or a poison grenade or whatever, right? You kind of just get to pick and choose. And even the tools themselves do have their own perks that you can kind of swap around as much as you want. I do wish that you could swap them on the fly. It's kind of annoying that you have to go to a Brotherhood station or a hidden one's location in order to end up changing them. The story in this game exists. It's not good, it's not bad, it's forgettable. At the very least, I appreciate the fact that all of this is taking place in Baghdad, so a lot of the exposition lore that you can find in the world will actually give you real life history towards the place. But generally speaking, the entire story is to serve the purpose of the narrative, which is assassinating the main targets of the game so that you can slowly discover more and more clues that lead you to the final boss of the game. These mainline targets are hit or miss. A lot of times they'll have you sneak into their base and give you many different options to approach the situation, which I did appreciate. And then other times it'll be like this. Oh, that was easy. Gameplay for the most part is gonna be 80% parkour, with the rest of the percentage being to combat or sneaking, I guess, if you can even call it sneaking. The AI in the game is really bad. The combat is terrible, in my opinion. It's actually like one of the worst combat systems I've experienced in a modern game. It feels weightless. You'll be wailing on an enemy and you won't stun them at all. They'll just follow through with their attacks, and it's quite literally just, oh, well, if they glow yellow, you parry their attack and cause damage to their break meter, which will allow you to auto kill them if you break their posture, or if they do a red attack, you have to dodge it. What? Are they duplicating? Because the combat is so bad, I found myself utilizing the sneaking more often than possible, because an assassination is a one-shot kill. And you start out with very basic ability of being able to kill like one person or whatever, but later on you'll be able to do chain assassinations, use like a power move that lets you auto kill a bunch of enemies that are nearby. But the stealth itself, though fun, is nothing to write home about. I don't think any fans of old school stealth games are going to approve of this system. The enemies themselves are brain dead. You pretty much just lure them so that they're close enough to you, and then you press the attack button, which is basically the auto win button, and you'll assassinate the target. So long as you're assassinating them in a bush or whatever, or you can kill them quick enough that another guard doesn't see you doing the killing, they don't care if they find a friend's corpse, it might send them into an alert status, but they won't like warn the entire compound or anything, or you know, tighten up their patrols or anything, to the point you can even whistle to lure enemies, and you can lure one enemy at a time, even if there's a group of them, and they won't question what just happened to their friend. Like, it's really, really bad. Now, the parkour is the other big aspect of the game, which is also really, really bad. I'm sorry to say, you know, your character does not want to cooperate with the controls. I think that a lot of that has to do with the dynamic animation of the character is probably something that they've coded into the game to save on development time. So rather than them purposely making your character climb every single different structure in the game and coding all of those, they probably just opted more into having a dynamic range where the character will automatically be able to calculate how the animation is supposed to play out in terms of it climbing the environment, which in that regard is fine and impressive, but your character will get stuck on the terrain constantly. Even something as simple as go through a window, you'll have a lot of trouble with. A lot of these issues weren't a problem when I was early on in the game. It was most of all after I got to like that 10-hour mark that it really started to annoy me. What? Lastly, my rating for this game, unfortunately, I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5, just stating that it's not that this is necessarily a low rating, it's more so that this is what I would give to the average rating of a video game, you know, with 3 being above average and so on and so forth. So with that said, yes, it is a considerably low score, but I wouldn't say that this game is garbage and something that you would 100% want to pass on, because as far as AAA games are concerned, the annoyance factor of some of the different mechanics does not outweigh the fun that I did have with this game. It's just that so much of this game could have been more. I can't help but compare Mirage to Assassin's Creed 1, and Assassin's Creed 1, though jank, in my opinion, was actually a far better game than this, just because the mechanics were, they worked a lot more with what the game is. So what I mean by that is Mirage feels like it's stitching together mechanics from other Assassin's Creed games that are designed as RPGs, but this one strips away all the RPG aspects, and so what you're left with is kind of a muddled experience where not everything is quite as polished as it should be. Still, again, as far as AAA games are concerned, I still can recommend this game. If you're an Assassin's Creed fan, you'll probably actually really like it. For me, I'm not the biggest Assassin's Creed fan, and more so, I'm actually a fan of the RPG style of game, which is why I personally am giving it a lower rating than usual.
Now you go!
I cannot!
Yes, you can! Do not overthink it!